everyone, and welcome to the Craft Bunny Hop giveaway. I'm Nicole Watt, the Pixel Maven, and this is the Pixel Maven's Retreat channel over here on YouTube. And I hope you are having fun hopping across all of our different video bloggers for this fantastic giveaway. If you would like to be eligible to win my prize, which is this fantastic 8x8 spring sampler, you need to leave a comment on my channel here by March 26th, and all the winners will be announced on March 30th on the Multiplicity Crafts channel. So just a little bit about my project. I'm going to go into some details in a little bit, but we started first with an inspiration, and my inspiration was the Garden Grow stamp set from Altenew. It's a fantastic spring and summer stamp set that I knew I was going to have a lot of fun coloring. So I paired that with the coordinating dies to make it super easy to pop those out and when I was ready to put them into my project. And once I had that, I went ahead and picked my color scheme, which I knew I was going to go for greens and earth tones, and this fabulous toned gray paper along with some browns and greens, this lovely bright cilantro from Lawn Fawn. It really just made everything pop. And once I had that done, I knew I had this fantastic paper pad from Cartabella. This is from last spring, but it works well today too. So I pulled it out and I knew I was going to have some great other colors to pick from in order to pull into some coordinating imagery when I did my coloring. And then I was going to add in some dots from Altenew to really finish the project off. So let's take a look at the first steps, which was coloring. So once I had all my materials picked out, I wanted to go ahead and get started with all of my elements. And that entailed stamping all of the images. And I used my Memento Tuxedo Black for that because it works well with Copic markers. And I didn't want to use white because a lot of the paper in this paper pad has a little bit of a yellowish hue to it, and there's a lot of grays and things. I didn't want it to be such a stark contrast, so I wanted to use a grayish color, and I thought it would be a great time to try this Strathmore toned gray. So I pulled out a sheet of this, and I started to do some experimenting with coloring. And I didn't have some colors right at first, but I did pick out some other colors that finally worked really well with this paper pad. And what I've been doing is just keeping out one or two of the sheets to reference, so that way I get images that kind of that coordinate really well. So with toned gray, you don't have to put down a base color of white or anything to do the color penciling over, because I'm going to be using Copics. That actually provides enough of a base coat that I don't have to worry about it. So this one here, I think I'm going to do in like shades of green. So I'm just going to start with a lighter shade of green, and just like with any other coloring project, I'm going to start by filling it in. And this toned gray has a pretty light weave to it, so the ink does like to run. And because I'm using colored pencils in the end, I'm not too concerned about getting right up to the very edge, because the colored pencil is going to cover that. And then that way I don't get any bleed out. So I have a lighter color in place, and then now I'm just going to add a little bit of a darker color to start getting a shade. And you can see that that's already starting to come through. Excuse me, I've been under the weather, as you know. And when this dries completely, you will see that color really pop out. So now that I have the coloring, the base in place with my Copics, I can go in and use my Prismacolors. I have all these great color pencils to pick out some coordinating colors. And you can see in these images I have some really great blue-greens. So I'm going to stick with kind of more of a blue-green tones, maybe even just a straight up green, and just start laying in some more color and texture. Once all of my coloring was completed, I went ahead and took all of these cute little elements and I die cut them out with the coordinating Garden Grow die cuts from Altenew. So once I had that done, it was time to move into the design. And of course, I already had all my colors and everything picked out. So It was just a matter of what elements am I going to use and how am I going to put it together. And I knew that I wanted to use the word grow. So I went into my silhouette and I found a really nice font and I cut out the word grow using one of the patterns from the Cartabella paper. And then I cut out a shadow using, this is ground coffee from Lawn Fawn. So this is an 8x8 sampler, as you know. And I wanted to pull in that piece, I wanted to pull in that toned gray. So I did a nice small piece. This is 6.5 by 6.5 of the toned gray. And then a really nice whitewash piece from the Cartabella set. And I knew I wanted that as my base. And from there, it's just about finding the pieces and deciding how you want them to go. So, like the grow eventually would end up down here. I mean, I kind of moved it around. I started off with the plant smiles. This is also from the Cartabella. There's a whole bunch of little sentiments on there that you can cut out. So I started with this down here, kind of like so. But then I knew I wanted to use the word grow. And I had a piece that I was going to put in the middle like this. And I thought, well, maybe that'll go in the center. But I really, really love this piece. So I thought, nope, this is going to get anchored somehow with the grow. And I figured out how I was going to weave that together. And eventually, that gets all popped up and everything. I did keep the center here, of course, and then I moved this guy off to the side. And what I come to realize is that even though I had all these great pieces to work with, less is more. So you don't always need to use every piece that you've created. You might just let that stick around for another project. So just because you've created them and you don't use them doesn't mean that it was a waste of time. You've got some great inspiration for a future project and something to pull from really quickly. And now that I have everything together, I thought I would just put a few finishing touches on with some enamel dots to provide a little bit of gloss and excitement to the rest of the design. So I put on a few from the Red Cosmos Altenew, and also I'm going to throw on a few from the Rock collection, just a couple of gray ones to pull in that toned gray again. It really is a fantastic color. And I just want to call that gray out, that it goes really well with the brown and the pink and the green. Classic colors, great combination for spring. Don't forget, if you'd like to win this 8x8 sampler, you need to go ahead and leave a comment on my channel here on this video by March 26th. All the winners of the Craft Bunny Hop giveaway will be announced on March 30th on the Multiplicity Crafts channel. So thank you for joining me for this fun hop. I hope you go visit all the other hoppers in this fantastic event. And I will see you again for another hop soon. But until next time, happy crafting.